And I'll give it a moment, see if anyone shows up. I had scheduled this, but I guess it didn't actually generate the live. So I had to recreate this morning. And I'd put the name here, Touching Power, Overcooked Eggs, Spirituality is Creativity. I think initially I'd put it as like aestheticism, overcooked eggs, and spirituality is creativity because I was like being inspired while eating some eggs last week. You know when you like make eggs and I'm not sure about you, but for me I have a very particular way I want my eggs to be cooked. Like the yolk has to be just like this perfect between of runny, but not like raw. That, if you know what I'm talking about, that need of like a perfection. That's kind of where I was going with that. And I feel like that ties to aestheticism. So we'll see what we talk about today in this live. A lot of things, even as I was just preparing to come on here, I'm like, wow, I have not been on a live or even really shared anything for a while. I like that you can see the candle. Um, let's get some flame. But I wanted to just, yeah, come on here. I want to host these, answer your questions, like hear what's going on for you. How can I be of service for you today? What's going on in your life? Because I don't maybe always have the chance to speak with all of you directly. Some of you have been like old clients, so I have your numbers. We like have phone conversations. Reach out, there's ways for us to get into contact with each other. And right now, there's like a lot of things happening energetically, astronomically, or astrologically, perhaps. We have an eclipse here. I believe it's tomorrow. I think it's a solar eclipse, and then there's a lunar eclipse coming up in March. And tomorrow also marks the Lunar New Year in the Chinese medicine, or Chinese tradition. So we'll be entering into this year of the fire horse or crimson horse. I believe it's also going to be a new moon soon. So there's like so much happening. And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling it. I've been feeling this transition. And a lot of it has been centered around this idea of like personal power and self-expression. And so I'm going to be dropping something in the chat. If you are looking, maybe you are creative, you're an entrepreneur, you are someone who just really has this like call inside. You feel like, okay, there's something more here inside of me, this dream, and I want to bring it to life. I'm just not sure how. I invite you to tune in to any of my offerings. We just finished the 5 days to just fuck the blocks, unleash your creativity. But I'm going to be hosting a masterclass this coming Friday. I'm going to drop the link here for you if you would like to tune in. And it's going to be about self-expression, a rebooting of your self-expression. Because I think for so many of us, me included, you guys, I've like been hiding the self, the really true, authentic self. And it's like that time is done. To me, this is why the fire horse and all these energies are coming through. It's time for us to all just show up as ourselves. Hi, Raham Mansk. Hello. Hi, Jocelyn. Hello. Welcome. So let me know what's showing up for you around this concept of power, of self-expression. And if you'd like to join me for that masterclass, I'm going to drop it here in the chat. It's going to be fun. Boop. And with that, like sense of self-expression, personal power, I guess what it comes down to is really being willing to show up as yourself. I just dropped a arcane letter correspondence. That's my newsletter. If you want to join in, I think there's like a link in the description. But this idea of being in personal power, I really like touched on it this weekend where I was in like some group experiences and I just found how I was showing up to be so like more aligned and like so much more fiery, even like an internal fire, just something coming up and like how I felt like confidence just, I could really like, I was so aware of it. Let's put it that way. I was so aware. And of course, when we're like so used to playing small or being little, you know, trying to like be so perfect, which I don't know about you, but that's definitely a thing. It's like the perfectionism around if it's, is it good enough? Am I good enough? The self-worth, all this stuff. It's like that need can really kind of take the forefront, right? When you're in social situations, you might start like overthinking and am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? And in these situations over the weekend, it's like none of that was there. I just was showing up as myself, speaking boldly, speaking my truth, sharing thoughts that, weren't maybe in the normal category, just things that I was like, that's just who I am. And it was so freeing, I would say. And yet there was still like this little like voice inside my head, the old version of myself that was like, oh, are you sure you want to be doing this? Is it like really actually safe? Now that I say that, it's interesting. I'm talking about it kind of coming from the back of the head, because if we think about like the reptilian brain and like that low brain stem and how that so much like dictates how it is we show up in social situations, based up on like how we feel like we need to survive, or if we are going to survive or not, because of like our evolution as humanity. There's just something here, I think, that we really need to be bringing awareness to. And it's not, perhaps there'll be a day where those thoughts of self-doubt or worry or the like little egoic mind kind of being like, oh, are you sure? Maybe that will never go away. I don't know. Maybe it will. But I would like to say that I believe it is part of our experience here. It's like that internal devil, that oppressor that we all have to experience because of the polarity of our reality. And so when we are going through these scenarios where we are being asked to like touch our power, to share our voice, to express ourselves in our most authentic way, that like oppressive energy that wants to just like make you doubt, it's always going to be there. Like, that's just how it is. Ooh, I'm seeing some more comments here. I'm at work. Oh, well, nice for you to join in. That's cool that you get to do that, Jocelyn. Yes, Rahamansk. Have a good night. Oh, sweet dreams. I'm excited. This week I'm going to be taking this astral dreaming class that I'd be like, oh, so curious, because there's something about lucid dreaming and all this stuff that I think can really be a great component into creativity. And, kind of as I bridge maybe this conversation now from this touching power, the self-expression, being your authentic self, all those components really come together when you do this work. And I say do the work. You might be like, well, what work? Is it working at your job? Like, I mean, I think that's part of it. We need to balance our physical material world, this like world where we are connected to the tasks, our finances, our bodies, and how we care for our health, how we care for our families, our homes. All these things are equally as important because they combine to make that like six-pointed star, right? The hexad. We have our like upward pointing triangle of spirit. We have the downward pointing triangle of matter. But then everything needs to come together when we do the work of our inner work, our alchemical work, the transformational work that, to me, magic and the different spiritual practices that I've explored, and you probably have explored similar ones, maybe different ones, everything contributes to becoming and really embodying that most expressive, authentic self. Because what happens in the process is we're really like clearing away any of the gunk, anything that's not really us, any of the beliefs, the perspectives, the words and language. And the last year, before this year of the fire horse tomorrow has come, this has been the year of the snake. This has been about the shedding of the old self. So if you've been finding yourself like isolated, alone, really just in the muck of things, it would make sense, right? You've been like low to the ground. You've been clearing things, shedding that old skin, shedding that old perspective or perception of yourself. And now, hopefully, you've been doing the work. You've been reviewing what's been showing up, journaling, meditating, contemplating, maybe doing rituals or practices, attending healing sessions, going to groups where you explore your inner world and figure out how it is that you, or why it is that you are the way you are, or work or think the way you are. These things are all going to compound now and support you into this next. But, it's never too late. Like, our whole life is this work. But you need to get on the ball with that if you haven't been. And this isn't to be like, do that so that you can become the biggest, best, whatever, business person or entrepreneur or influencer, I don't know, whatever things maybe you think you need to be because like society and all the shit tells you need to be. That's been like a huge learning for me. It's like, what do I actually want to do? How do I actually want to show up? Now is just the time for you to tune in into yourself, because this, like, the most important part of this whole experience of humanity is this evolution of humanity, evolution of the self. And we're all evolving in some aspect, individually and collectively. And this is why we do this work. This is why we explore these parts of ourselves. And, this is why it's so important. Otherwise, you just kind of stay at the same level. You're not evolving. Like, what is the point of that? What? You're going to have to come and evolve at some point again. Sorry to tell you. So you'll either like consciously choose to do the work or unconsciously choose, because it's probably going to happen anyway. And that's when things get really like shitty. Really shitty. So I really, I admire the people who do really deep, dark shadow work, whether that's like demonolatry with the Goetia, those types of like spirits that really get into the depths, because that's not easy work. It's not easy to look at your shadow, to look at your greed, to look at the lust that you have, to look at the resentment and anger. But there's a lot of those people, not all. There's some that are obviously a little like, no judgments, but you stay over there. I'm going to stay over here. Thank you. People that are willing to look into the depths. And I hope that this channel, the space I hold for y'all, can be that, where everything is welcome. All of you is welcome, because I think that's really important. As someone who's had like two lives come together, mixture of ancestry, the black and the white, two views, like the Christian and the like definitely not very Christian viewpoints. My life has been this mixture of all these things, the light and the dark. And I really do believe when we can come to like accept all the parts of ourselves, we just have so much more ability to show up as ourselves and to love ourselves and to love others thus, and to be part of that evolution. And this is the spirituality, and all of this ties to creating, because spirituality is creativity. God created the earth, right? So the spiritual concept, if we could say, this higher concept created something so material. Like, why create such this polar opposite? That in itself just shows that there's a link between these two. So the last like month and a half, 2 months, I was really diving into like the creative aspect, because for myself, I'm a musician, I'm a writer, I make like these videos, film, however you want to identify that. I like to share and inspire people. And to me, this is all tuning into creativity, that like internal creative force, the sexual force, the balance of the masculine and feminine merging. And I believe that this is really important. I believe this is going to lead us to higher realms of consciousness, to tune us or tap us into that divine source where we've all come from. And if you listen to any musicians or artists, you can hear that this is kind of what they talk about in the whole creative process, is tuning into God, tapping into these creative universal forces. And so what a beautiful thing when you can pick up a pad of paper and draw something, even a doodle. I love doodling little like geometries, like triangles and squares or cubes and circles, like that sort of thing. even just doing something so like simple as that. I'm not saying you have to go paint like a Mona Lisa or be this like fantastic painter or artist or musician. Just like hum a song, whatever's coming through you, write words down in your journal. All these things are going to link you to your spirituality. Hi, Daisy Blue. Hello. From Canada. Hey, Sue. Oh, we're just about to get like a huge snowfall here. It was like so nice. This week is not going to be so nice. But whatever. It's February. It's going to be the end soon. As with all things, right? Light and dark, hot and cold, this polarity, this movement, the spiritual to the material realm, all this stuff. And I feel like with creativity, we're able to tune into that. And we're able to also, at least for me, and I know there's other musicians, people, creatives out there who've experienced it. Even me just coming on and sharing videos is like so healing. So if you're feeling the call to like do any of these things, but you're not really sure how, you feel like there's this block, whatever the case might be, you can come to that masterclass that I posted there in the pin. You may also want to sign up for my 5 days of unleashing your creativity. That's like in your inbox. You get to just do the work on your own and really like just get rid of those blocks that are holding you back from expressing yourself, from being in your spiritually creative self. Okay? Because yeah, I just think that this is so important. And there's a lot of stuff in different like systems right now, human design. You know, we got these changes with Saturn and Aries, Neptune and Aries that are really like showing us how important it is to be in our authenticity and to really like tune into the self-expression. So I'm putting that link for the 5-day Fuck the Blocks challenge there. That was fun making. It ties in magic and other practices that I think can really help. That they've helped me to just become this human that I am now. And wherever I'm going, wherever she's going, trusting the process. But I think tying back to the weekend experience of this, being in my power, speaking and just feeling like this, like, oh, I was just describing it to my partner. Like, I just felt so like open. Very different how I would say I usually have been in like social situations. I mean, I'm usually open, but I can definitely be like quiet because I'm like, oh, I don't really need to speak, do I? But there was something there that just felt so like real and vulnerable and open and like loving. And it was all okay. All okay. Even at the end, you guys, I made a huge embarrassing thing. I like spilt this beverage on myself. It was quite hilarious and like stupid. Like, it's like, do I not know how to drink? And that moment like just really showed me how I responded, not reacted. I responded to that situation was like the icing on the cake of like, whoa, like I really was in my power. Like just being me. There was nothing else that needed to happen except just respond to, okay, now I wipe myself up because I can't sit here with hot chocolate all over myself. And like whoever needed to see that little bit of ridiculousness. And anyway, so how is it you're showing up with your need to be perfect, overcooking the eggs when you want them to be a particular way, but maybe overcooked eggs are actually what you need or not. I don't know. And touching your power, being your most expressive self, bringing your dreams to life. I was talking to like an old client yesterday about a dream that she has shared before. And like somebody was just like, it's been on my mind. So I'm like, okay, let's talk. And so many of you have these dreams. So many of you have these feelings that were like visions of something. There's something you're like, I just like really feel like there's this thing I need to do. I'm here to do, or it's like calling me. I know it's going to work out, but it seems so delusional. That's the word she used, which I love. My teacher says like delulu, which it totally is. Like a lot of the things we want to see happen or we feel like are going to come into life seems so far-fetched, so out there. But that's the beautiful thing. Like, do you think God before starting the creation of the earth was like, oh, I think that just is like too far out there? Maybe, I don't know. Like, how would you know? There was no concept of that before, I assume. Who knows? Different religious beliefs may say that there were multiple attempts. But what about that first time? That though, God probably could see, right? All knowing, you can see, things, your intuition's not leading you astray. So when you feel like these dreams inside, but you're just not sure, like reach out, talk to someone. It's just good to have those like back and forths with people that you trust, obviously. Don't share your dreams with everyone because God knows most people will want you to be small, to not follow the dreams, because that means then they have to feel bad about themselves, or they think they have to feel bad about themselves because they're not taking the actions on the things they want. But with the right support, do that. If you need someone to talk to, reach out to me. You can contact me. There's links below. You can book a energy reset session. These sorts of things can help you to just tune into, okay, what are those dreams? What is in the way of me like achieving that? What next steps? And I'll just share with you like something I shared with her that I think can be so helpful. If you have these dreams, but you're not sure the steps to take next, just like, okay, what step? You can ask this question. What step is going to get me closer to that vision? What next small step, will get me to this vision? Who can I serve? Who can I be in communication with today that will get me to that vision? These questions, ask and ye shall receive. Posing question to the universe means you have to get a response back. If you don't believe that, just test it. Well, I don't know what you can test it with, but like, just test it. Ask a question. Ask a question. And then I guarantee you within a 24-hour period, it seems, at least in my experience, the answer comes. Even this morning, I wrote down in my journal, who can I serve today? And instantly it was like, send out that newsletter. I'd like written this thing up. It's like, oh, okay, I thought maybe I needed to wait another day or so, but it was like, nope, you do that like now. The answers will come, a still quiet voice, an internal knowing, a vision, however it might show up for you. Hello, Johanna Lula. Even if my dream is to shift realities. So my question would be for you is, how are you doing that? I remember I dated this guy. Dated might be a loose term because like you really date someone who's like across the country. I don't know if you don't actually ever meet, but we had a romantic thing going, and his like work, I could see he would go into the dream time and like astral spaces and was this like warrior defeating like things. Some of the stories he would share is like, that's so freaking crazy to hear. But like, to me, it felt like he's literally like entering into this space and doing all this work. The issue with that being, okay, when you're just focused in these like dream states, astral states, it can have some like complications in your actual physical world. You need to balance both that upper spiritual triangle and the downward facing triangle of matter. So your physical world, do you have a physical job where you can make money? How can you turn that even into a job with clients, with people? I do rituals for folks. Because some people, they don't know how to do ritual. They're too scared to do ritual, depending on the situation. To me, this is what shamans do. Entering into the dream state, into the spirit state to do the things and shift the energy, shift the realities for people. People will pay you for that. And not everyone has that gift or ability. And that's okay. It's different. Not everyone's going to be a lawyer. Like, God, hell no, I don't want to be a lawyer. Like, well, I would not be very good at that, I don't think. So, whatever that dream is, keep asking, okay, how do I make this dream a reality? How do I bring this to life? What small step can I take today? What small step? And what I'm learning lately is having conversations with people is so important. There's something about when two humans mix together and it like brings in, it bursts something. And maybe that's the sexual magic, right? The like masculine and feminine. And I'm not talking about intercourse or any intimacy things. I'm just talking about two polar opposites. Because you know, when two people meet, they carry this energy of like of difference, of variation. Maybe you've seen that. You know, there's certain people I can show up with, and if they're more quiet, I'll be more loud. If I show up with someone else and they're more loud, I'll be more quiet. So there's like this merging of two. And what happens when a masculine feminine energy join, force and form? You birth the third, right? You get that triangle, you get that concept of the God, Son, Holy Spirit, or the mother, right? There's this creation of the third, the creation almost of those dreams, of those ideas, of the inspiration. So there is definitely something that goes on there. So whatever it needs to be, can you have a conversation with someone today? Who can I serve? Right? It's not always about what you need to get out of it, but who can you share or have a conversation with and inspire, and then see how that also leads to the next step. This is a huge thing for me the last week. It's weird. I'm like, I thought I knew this, but apparently I didn't really get it. Now I'm like seeing it happen in real time. Maybe this is just fire horse energy. Oh my goodness, my like throat. Whatever it is, can you trust by asking these questions? Okay. How long have we been on here? 27 minutes. Do I have anything else that needs to be said? Is there anything else? If there's any other questions, you can drop them in the comments. No, I thought I was going to make a video about that. There's things running through my mind that I'm like, oh, do I want to talk about it? There's a few video ideas, things I'm hoping to speak. And I'm kind of curious, like, from you guys too. Do you want to see like more regular content from me? And maybe that's like lower quality content? Or do you prefer to see the higher quality content, but like fewer between? Because I'm really in this place of, okay, you know, I don't force myself to make content. It really needs to come from that inspired place. It's just, that's how I work. It doesn't mean I'm like feeling inspired all the time. Like I start something, then I have to finish it. And usually that's by the point the inspiration's kind of gone where I have to like really like, oh, okay, this needs to be done. But I've made some videos recently, edited them where it was a lot of like time and effort. And that's something I don't really feel like I want to do all the time at this point in my life. When it's like a single person team kind of doing it's a lot. But like, I also feel the call to share more. But you know, it's like balancing oversharing and like too much quantity versus quality. That's something I'm constantly contemplating. Like giving too much of oneself, I think, can be a little bit just not what's needed. Not what's needed. And that's kind of why too, with the card readings, I technically have come to a slowdown with like online readings, these live readings, just because my views of tarot and reading, I feel like it can really limit you. I'm going to probably make a video about that here soon. And when we're talking about bringing dreams to reality, we're talking about you being your most authentic self. How can you be your most authentic self when you're constantly being fed information from some random card reader online? You're like not even fucking thinking for yourself anymore. I just like, so many of you probably need to hear this. I'm so sorry. And yeah, I guess that's me having a little bit of a judgment in a way, because I really think it puts a cap on us when we listen to someone else's intuition or interpretation of our lives. This is about living your true will. This is about you doing what you want to do and being who you want to be in your most authentic, true self, being in your power. And when you are constantly looking or searching outside of yourself for the answers or for guidance, especially on like the simple things, on like, oh, should I do this or not do this? It's like, what does your body say to do? What does your intuition say? You're not developing those really important parts of yourself. That's where evolution can occur. And it doesn't mean to not go and get connected, because I do think since the beginning of the year, I started working with a coach. I started really doing the self dive, their deep dive into like self. And I've signed up for a full year of doing this type of work. And it's really like contributed to my life. But the beautiful thing is my coach teacher is not like one who is telling everyone to follow them and do what they say. It's really about self-empowerment, sharing information, letting people take what they will, but not directing them through, especially through card readings and all the things. I think we have to like, we're a society that does not think enough for themselves. So that's why card readings and all these things have become so popular, because yeah, there's something about that. It's easier to give your power away. Oh, this person said it's not the time to do this yet. Well, anyway, I leave that for you. But what is possible? What is the dream? What is your personal path leading you to? How can you blend the spiritual and the material so that you can birth these creative aspects of yourself, touch into your power, tap into your authentic self-expression? I've shared those two links. One is pinned for the masterclass on Friday if you want to join in. And God knows I hated calling this thing a masterclass, but because there was so much resistance to me having that title there, I was like, okay, let's just fucking call it that. And now I'm having a weird deja vu moment. Um, but it's there. It's there. If you want to join, it's free. You'll get the recording after if you feel called, if you can't make it to the live just because of the time. But I think for now, I'm going to just conclude this time. Let's just do a little guided breathing to wrap up all this energy. Thank you. So just settling into your spot, whether you're sitting or lying down. Allowing your eyes to close. And on your next exhale, just letting shoulders drop down. Perhaps even letting your exhale become just a little longer than the inhale, really feeling that exhale out as it relaxes the body. Anywhere in your body where there may be tension, just really intentionally letting go there. In legs and buttocks, in mid, back, behind the neck, in the jaw. Just giving these little microscopic adjustments as you relax deeper here. I'm feeling the two energy centers of the third eye, so the spot between the eyebrows. And in that womb space, the pelvic space. And so maybe bringing your awareness with a indigo light in the brow or the third eye space. That indigo light, a ball of light forms there. And then in the pelvic bowl, a orange ball of light forms. Body knowing and higher knowing. intuition, and vision. And as each inhale charges these two balls of energy, you just begin to become aware of whatever is showing up, whatever sensations or knowings, any thoughts, feelings, words. And these two energies start to stream into the heart. We're at the heart center now, an emerald green light begins to form. It's being fed by these two intuitions, the higher knowing and the lower knowing. And from your heart, it begins to expand out into the world, 360 degrees around you, this heart field. And from here, the question you can ask yourself, and trust that the answer will come, whether it comes now or it comes in the next days. Just be open to receiving the answer. From your heart, you ask the question, who can I serve? And on your next exhale, that question radiates out from your heart, 360 degrees around you. And you let go of the awareness of these 3 points in your body as you return to your breath, to your entire body, relaxed here in this moment. And we'll take a deep breath in together here, empty lungs, inhaling, pausing at the top for a moment and letting it go. And as you slowly open eyes, returning back to the space. So, thank you, everyone. Hello, Meredith. I messaged you on Instagram. Hi. So, remember how powerful you are, you guys. Remember how powerful you are. And if you feel called, I hope to see you at that self-expression reboot. The link's there in the description. Thank you all for being here. And I guess till next week for another live. I will see you all then. Take care.